July 10, 1943, Sicily. Dawn. Dust hangs low over the olive groves as the engine coughs to life. Inside the tank, the air is thick with oil fumes, sweat, and anticipation. The steel walls are already warm, even though the sun has barely risen. Sergeant Frank Mitchell grips the edge of the turret, listening to the low, familiar rumble beneath his boots. It's an M4 Sherman. Ahead of them, the road bends gently uphill. Somewhere beyond it, German positions wait, dug in, patient, confident. Intelligence reports say there may be Panzer IVs in the area, maybe worse. Panthers have been spotted on the mainland. Tigers, too, if the rumors are true. Mitchell knows the talk, everyone does. The Sherman burns too easily. Its armor is too thin. Against a Tiger, you don't stand a chance. The crew jokes about it to keep the fear down. Someone taps the armor with a wrench and calls it a steel coffin. Someone else laughs a little too hard. Then the order comes through the headset. Advance. The Sherman lurches forward, tracks grinding against stone. The gunner scans the tree line through his sight, heart pounding. This is not a duel. This is not a test of who has the bigger gun. This is war as it actually happens, messy, fast, unfair. And this is where the myth of the Sherman begins to collide with reality. For decades, the story has been simple. German tanks were monsters, Panthers with sloped armor and long-barreled guns, Tigers that could kill from distances the Sherman couldn't even see. American tanks, by comparison, were supposedly outclassed, inferior, sent into battle to be slaughtered. It's a powerful story, and it's only half true, because war is not decided in a single, perfect duel on an open field. It's decided in mud, in breakdowns, in supply depots, in repair yards, in training manuals, and in how fast you can replace what you lose. And that is where the Sherman changes everything. The Sherman was never designed to be the strongest tank on the battlefield. That was never the point. When American engineers finalized its design in 1941, the United States had one overriding concern: build a tank that could be produced quickly, shipped anywhere in the world, maintained by average soldiers, and kept fighting day after day. It had to cross oceans. It had to run on imperfect fuel. It had to be repaired under fire. And most importantly, it had to exist in numbers the enemy could never match. So compromises were made. The Sherman's armor was thinner than Germany's heavy tanks. Its 75 gun and later 76 was effective, but not dominant in long-range duels. Its height made it more visible. Against a Tiger head-on, it was at a disadvantage. No one denied that, not the designers, not the crews. But while Germany poured resources into perfecting a few terrifying machines, the United States did something far less glamorous. It built an army. By 1944, Germany had produced roughly 1,300 Tiger tanks and around 6,000 Panthers, complex machines that required skilled crews, specialized parts, and constant maintenance. A broken transmission could sideline a Panther for weeks. A Tiger that ran out of fuel might be abandoned where it stood. The United States, meanwhile, produced nearly 50,000 Shermans. Let that number sink in. Factories in Detroit, Chicago, and beyond ran day and night. Entire assembly lines were optimized not for perfection, but for speed and consistency. Parts were standardized. Crews were trained on identical systems. If a Sherman was damaged, mechanics often had it running again within days or hours. And if one was lost, another was already on the way. Back in Sicily, Mitchell's Sherman crests the hill. A flash, smoke, the crack of a gun. Contact front, the driver swerves instinctively. The gunner slews the turret. This isn't a Tiger, thank God, but it doesn't matter. The engagement is fast, chaotic. Artillery begins to fall. Infantry moves alongside the tank, using it as cover. This is how Shermans actually fought, not alone, not hunting monsters, but as part of a moving system. Infantry, artillery, air power, logistics, all advancing together. German heavy tanks were terrifying in isolation, but isolation was exactly the problem. They often arrived late, broke down en route, or lacked fuel to exploit their victories. Shermans, by contrast, were almost always where they were needed. Always present, always moving, and slowly, relentlessly, that presence began to overwhelm raw power. Inside the Sherman, Mitchell feels the jolt as the tank fires. The recoil rattles his teeth. Somewhere ahead, the enemy position erupts in flame and dust. He doesn't know if they destroyed a gun, a truck, or just scared the hell out of someone. It doesn't matter. The advance continues. Because this war is not about surviving one perfect encounter. It's about surviving every day after it. And that is the truth Germany never fully grasped until it was far too late. In the next section, the myth of the Sherman meets the cold mathematics of production, logistics, and survival. And the numbers tell a very different story. The wreck sits half buried in the mud, steam curling from its engine deck. A German Panther silent now. Its armor is scarred, not shattered. The kill didn't come from a heroic duel at long range. It came from something far less dramatic. It ran out of fuel. Moments like this were everywhere by late 1944. Tanks abandoned on roadsides, crews gone, engines intact but useless. Machines built to dominate battlefields, stopped not by enemy fire, but by logistics. War, it turns out, is arithmetic. Germany's tanks were engineering marvels, but they were nightmares to keep alive. Panthers overheated, transmissions failed. Tigers consumed fuel at terrifying rates. Every mile forward stretched supply lines thinner. Every breakdown demanded parts that factories could no longer deliver fast enough. A single Tiger required hours of careful maintenance after even short movements. Skilled mechanics, specialized tools, time. The Sherman needed far less. Its engine was simpler, its parts interchangeable. Crews could swap transmissions in the field. Damaged Shermans were dragged back, patched up, and sent forward again. While German units waited for recovery vehicles that never came, American armor returned again and again. And the numbers only widened the gap. For every Panther Germany managed to put into service, multiple Shermans were already rolling off ships, trains, and trailers, fully fueled, crewed, and ready to fight. This wasn't accidental, it was doctrine. American planners understood something brutal but true. You don't win a war by building the best weapon, you win by making sure your weapon is always there. The Sherman didn't need to win every fight. It only needed to be present in enough fights long enough to wear the enemy down. And it worked. German crews began reporting the same thing in after-action reports and letters home. Not fear of the Sherman itself, but exhaustion. The feeling that no matter how many they destroyed, more would come. Because they always did. And with every mile forward, the imbalance grew worse. In the next section, that imbalance becomes personal. Inside the tank, where survival mattered more than firepower, and design decisions meant the difference between life and death. The smell of burnt oil and scorched earth fills the air. Inside the Sherman, Mitchell wipes sweat from his brow, hands slick on the controls. Enemy fire whistles past. A nearby shell shatters a tree, sending splinters across the hull. This is where the Sherman's design reveals its quiet genius. Its armor may have been thinner than a Panther's, its guns smaller, but it was practical, reliable, and forgiving. Crews could survive hits that would destroy lighter tanks, evacuate quickly, and re-enter battle within minutes. Across Europe, the pattern is the same. Tigers are feared, but when they break down or run out of fuel, their crews are stranded. Shermans, meanwhile, keep moving, keep supporting infantry, keep pressure on the enemy. Survival is about mobility, maintenance, and presence, not raw strength. By 1945, the numbers told the story. Tens of thousands of Shermans across France, Belgium, and Germany, constantly replacing losses, constantly advancing. Quantity, mobility, and reliability had beaten raw power. A tank mocked as weak had helped win a war. And in the quiet aftermath of each battle, historians now recognize it. The Sherman didn't just survive. It shaped modern armored warfare, proving that persistence and logistics matter more than sheer firepower.